Alright, here we go. We're doing a bit of a throwback for this one. I think for a while, what I want to do with this channel is review some, not necessarily old, but some classic anime. Some things that maybe you have or haven't seen. And I thought we would start off with Orange. How many of y'all have seen Orange back in the day? Like when it first came out, how many of you actually watched it? Because I only saw it recently. I would have saw it sooner, but for some reason, I watched the first episode. I was like, "This is amazing. This is a great story. I can't wait to continue." And then I put it away for years, and now I have finally returned to it, and this time I did finish it. So let's take a look at Orange. For starters, I love this art style. It definitely evokes a reminiscent style that caters to those who enjoyed the early 2000s design, even though the show was from 2016. From the beginning, you had this feeling that this is going to be one of those shows that you'll have beef with later, but for now, you're just gonna enjoy it. Like later on, after you finish it, you're just gonna be like, oh, I can't believe that. But still, I'm glad I watched it. It's very bittersweet, but we'll get to that later. Our story follows Naho, a girl who mysteriously finds a letter addressed to her. She reads the contents, and it is a letter from her future self. It spells out the day's events and tells her not to do certain things. Naho brushes it off as a joke of some kind, but throughout the day, she finds that the things that the letter said would happen were coming true. She must now listen to the words of the letter in order to save one of her friends, Kakeru, from meeting an untimely end. First of all, great plot. That much better than the time traveler's wife, right? But we're going to be playing with time travel with this, so it can be confusing. So there's a lot to this, okay? So the plan was simple. Follow the steps in the letter and we can save Kakeru from dying. Easy, simple task that Naho just can't seem to comprehend. I mean, she gets that she has to follow the letter in order to save Kakeru, right? But she isn't as brave as her future self, and I get that. You know, she's by herself in this, and it's easy to say what to do in the future, but there were times when I'm screaming at this girl. I called her an idiot more times than I would like to admit. And the scene where Kakeru is literally holding out his hand and she's like, "Bro, you good? Like take a hint, girl." That's probably my only irritation about the show. Besides that, it's pretty freaking solid. But let me tell you about the side characters, okay? Because they come in clutch. We're going to start out with basically the king of this show, okay? Suwa. My man Suwa is such a G. He gave up everything for Kakeru to live. I love his character. The scene where he confronts Naho and asks, "You got a letter too, didn't you?" I thought, no way! Like, I had a theory. I had this weird theory that he was the one sending the letter because I thought he was from the future and like he was gonna like disappear as soon as like she figured out everything, right? But no, it was even better. His future self, who I remind you is married to Naho, who he's actually in love with, is telling his past self, "Let Kakeru have her. Don't fall in love with her. Let her go." The conflict he must have felt with the decision was enormous because there was a point where she was just in his hands. He could have changed the timeline to meet the same one, but no, he stuck with it and gave up his happy ending so that Kakeru could live on. You don't get better than that, okay? He knew there was another timeline where he got his end with her, but it wasn't the true end for that line, and he just accepted that. It was a lot, but he did. The whole time, the show is flashing to the future, showing Suwa being married to Naho, and he even got a picture sent to him with Naho and his kid. And it's just like, God, bro, like, and he still chose to save Kakeru. Like, of course, that was the correct choice, and we all agree, but I've never seen a more selfless character before. He is the star for me. I mean, the entire side character cast were just phenomenal for me, to be honest. I love the whole friend group. I felt like we needed every one of them, and Hagita was probably the funniest character out of all of them. I loved his quick wit and his interactions with Azusa. They were a top tier side love story for me. I'm like, okay, I see you. And Chino was also a flawless character. I just adore them all. But not only that, when it was revealed that they all got letters, oh my god, I was so happy. Like, okay, now it's a group effort. Okay, we can all work together to save Kakeru. We are all on the same page. We got this. None of us sound crazy to the others. It works for a while, and then Naho goes and just screws it up at the festival night. Like, good job, stupid. You literally killed him. By doing that, you literally killed him. How hard was it to follow that one step? Don't have a fight, let him go. Okay, either go with him or let him go to see his grandmother, okay? It was the easiest thing, okay? And I mean, that ticked me off, but regardless, they did make amends and it was all, better. We got these flash forwards of life without Kakeru, and we realized that what the time team is doing is not changing the future for their timeline, but for the other timeline. Like, Kakeru is canonically dead in that line, okay? There was no coming back. So that just leaves this overwhelming, bittersweet feeling drowning you this whole time. Then they got to the day of Kakeru's death, and oh boy, with this one. The reason he did what he did, I am not saying at all that it was right. I am not saying that he made the correct choice, that there was no other way out. I simply sympathize with him because I understand, okay? I imagine that being that emotionally unstable and then seeing the text from your mother saying that she's sorry for being in the way, dude, I'd jump in front of a truck too. Like, this was a broken person who saw no other way out. And so, as the team tries to stop Kakeru, the truck comes through, and I legit believe that he's just canonically dead. Like, in all universes and all timelines, there's no saving him. But nope, he saves his own life by stepping back and realizing that he has people to live for. I find it odd that he's just so accepting of the future letter thing. I did find that kind of just funny. I mean, I guess that the letters from the other classmates help send that home, but it's still a lot to take in so easily. He's like, how did you guys figure it out? Oh, we got these letters from the future. Okay. The whole time you're thinking that this story is about the team fixing their regrets, but they all help Kakeru fix his regrets. And that's what saved him. I love that thought. I then, of course, had to watch the movie to bring it all together, and for a bit, I'm like, it's a recap. But then they're making the letters, and then they show Kakeru alive, and then there's a spot where they all decided to meet up, and he and Naho are together, and you think everything is the best. Then future Suo wakes up, and you're like, no, please, please say it wasn't all just a dream. Please! And it wasn't. But for a moment, you think, oh, it was all just a dream. Harry Potter woke up at the bottom of the staircase, So the other timeline does exist, okay? And the current one sends their letters, okay? That's all true. Which, by the way, sending them through the Bermuda Triangle, bit of a stretch, but whatever. I was not sure how they were going to do that, and I guess that's the best we could do. We see that the timelines reconverge and Naho gets her original letter, thus showing that the time travel thing is legit. Thank you so much. So, what can you wrap up Orange with in one word? It's definitely bittersweet. Okay, it's gotta be. Because yes, on one hand they did save Kakeru in one time, but he'll never return to their original one, okay? It's done. He's done, right? And let's be honest, the original line is ridiculously depressing. I mean, I really do want to believe that part of Naho fell in love with Sua enough to marry him and have a baby, but she just still looks so irritated with that life. I mean, I realize a part of her is missing and the love of her life is gone and she chose Sua, but at the same time, I feel like she just settled. Part of you feels like she settled. She was like, the second place is what the best she could get. And there's just this weird tension that I don't think is really delicately taken care of, but these people are never going to be just as happy as the other timeline, okay? We just have to accept that in some timelines, things are good, and in some timelines, you lose things. But what an adventure, and what a show. I really did love it. I honestly did. And it makes you take a step back and makes you want to check on the people that are important in your life. And, of course, on the flip side, those who are struggling should reach out and get help. And from me personally, it's just not worth it to go alone. When you're at your lowest, never pretend it's all okay. And above all, take care of yourself. So with that little bit of motivation out of the way, thank you all so much for watching. What did you think of Orange? Did you have the same feelings as I did? Did you get something else for it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know in the comments down below. Alright, I'm out. Peace. See ya.